top side. K1 already down on this Irelia. The Master Yi B-Tray dealing so much damage. Utility Monster actually does go low. There's the first one picked up, but now Freelancer happy to take this 2v1 as he does go very low in the meditate damage reduction. Yeah, and does just immediately find that burst on Gua. Does get locked down. There's the Encore. He flashes back into it, and there's the shutdown picked up for B-Tray. And now Brian Sang is going to be the little bonus goodie bag for B-Tray to pick up. That is 2 kills to that Master Yi. And you were saying that they can't find a way in, but what if Jeff just gives it to them, and now the fight is off, and K1 taking double
This last Yo-Yo was just not able to get anything done on the map suddenly. He's looking pretty scary right now, I think.
Yeah, there's the Stinger taking him under the tower there. And is K1 going to be able to take this trade back? So much damage out of that Swarner, actually. But this is so winnable for K1 as the Wish finally comes down. And well played to bait him in. Pixel Brush. Maybe looking for some sort of an engage, but how do you run away from this Skarner? We've said it so many times. There's Shirelli up. There's the W as the engage comes out from B-Tray. But what do? You just get locked down by the Skarner. And now Gua here. Here comes that card that we were worried about there. The high-speed play there from Utility Monster to get the first kill. Gua surely going to go down to the culling. Now K1 and B-Tray, the 2 carries for TAS, getting run down by Utility Monster. And there's the Alpha Strike coming up to keep him alive. The trade back onto Civillock, as it has always been. His mate there to try and score. K1 actually has been picking up some kills on the invincibility of this Irelia, but nothing matches the invincibility provided by YUBI, as they are going to walk into the base of TAS. Welcome along, everybody, to match point between YUBI Basic Income and Team Asorth. We're here for Game 3. This is where TAS needs to try and make their tournament life extend by taking a win off of the incredibly dominant reigning champions of YUBI. I'm joined now by War Leader, and this draft is looking almost copy-paste.
Yeah, and as far as series go, a lot of the bans are going to be copy-paste, unless there was something that really took a team by surprise in preparation. Especially these first 2 bans aren't going to change too much. Obviously, we saw the Annie and want to take that away from, I believe it was Game 1. So yeah, getting into this draft, we're really going to need to see Team Asorth go through some pretty radical changes if we want to see them beat Universal Basic Income, because so far, the strategies that they've tried before are not working.
Yeah, they've been just mainly aiming to try and outscale and try and, leave the early game, but that's not how TAS likes to play. They clearly like to play active in these early games. They like to find these snowballs, and I think it would be good for them to draft a composition around that. That being said, talking about laning phase domination, Civlock on the TF, that is exactly the right option to try and do that with. You take that Twisted Fate ultimate, put it around the map, you're able to snowball the entire game. I think that is a great option for YUBI to try and take that first pick, and then instead the Senna is locked in for what could be Onbo or Gua in that bot lane. Very good scaling option on that champion. I think she's actually quite strong right now.
Yeah, I agree, and I actually like the pick here. I think it's going to be all right. I'm really worried about the Twisted Fate roams, but Senna's Shroud does protect her and her ally from getting point-and-click CC'd by the Twisted Fate, unless he's in pretty much melee range. And it looks like it's going to be Onbo's classic, the Swain. When you are in a do-or-die situation, it is always recommended to go back to Comfort, and go back to Comfort Onbo does. But we'll have to see how the Swain does. It looks like Brian Sang wants to counterpick with the Nautilus.
Yeah, talk about Comfort. We want to see Brian Sang on these kind of lane-dominant picks, these game-changing picks, these momentum-heavy picks. This is where he is the best, is on those playmaking supports. And he is going to go ahead and lock in that hook champion. That big Nautilus is able to do so much in the middle of a team, grab a big pick. He's able to dictate his laning phase. And Draven locked in from Jeff God Gamer. This is such a strong pick right now. He's able to bully the laning phase. And I think with the help of a Nautilus, Draven could just snowball so hard. And I think that will be his alleyway to do so into the Swain Senna. That is something that TAS needs to start respecting immediately.
Absolutely. I actually just think that Universal Basic Income just hard counterpicked the Senna Swain in the bot lane, picked up something that's going to dumpster early. It's going to be up to this Lilia pick, which is probably going to be for B-Tray in the jungle, to come down to that bot lane and mitigate some of that early pressure, because otherwise it's going to get out of hand.
Yeah. The Lilia play is going to be there for kind of to give their mid-game an opening. That is when the Senna Swain is going to be relatively strong, assuming it doesn't fall behind that Draven. Now taking away no option for that jungler to force engages in the bot lane. Obviously, Lilia does have the damage, but she can't find her own way in, so it's going to be very reliant on the W or the E landing from Senna or Swain, respectively, to try and find a way onto that Draven Nautilus. Nautilus, of course, can peel very effectively, has the E, has the ulti, and can always find his way out with the Q. So
I think that B-Tray is going to probably be playing towards the top side of the map a little bit more. Of course, that's where TAS has been successful so far in the last 2 games. And you would put 2 people on RLS for the cast when the Volibear does get locked in.
Of course. The classic, it's Volibear. It's probably going top lane in this game, but it honestly could flex with the Lilia to go top or jungle, put the Lilia in the other respective role. Volibear being a very strong and solid champion that just brings a lot to the composition, and at this level of play brings a lot to teams' playmaking abilities and being able to beat out these towers. Meanwhile, we're going to get more dive coming through for Utility Monster, going to pick up the Zac. It's a champion that I believe we've seen him play many times before, and the Nautilus, Zac, Twisted Fate, CC chaining to follow up this Draven for damage is going to be a force to be reckoned with, and it looks like it's going to be Quinn maybe as this final piece of damage to round out the comp. No, something more classic, something more meta, it's going to be the Kennen. Adds a lot more an AoE form of CC to this team composition, and this team is a menace.
Yeah, I'm a much bigger fan of that Kennen pickup in the top lane. They were kind of lacking on damage. Obviously, Twisted Fate does have the ability, but he's mainly there for the lockdown. Does obviously have the poke with the Q. Does have the damage coming up from the auto attacks, but it's mainly there just for the CC, for the map presence. And it was very low ranged until the Draven, just Draven being the only damage source. Of course, now Kennen being able to there to back up with the engage. We've seen Kennen one-shot people. And now there's the Tristana lock-in, and now the composition confused me. I'm assuming that has to be solo lane. I'm really liking where YUBI's got their comp right now. It's going to snowball really well. It's going to have the damage in the team fights.
Yep, I think YUBI's comp is easier to execute and makes a lot more sense. We're going to have to see where this Tristana goes. I could see the Swain flexing into the middle lane and doing a Tristana Senna bot lane, but it's probably most likely to see the Tristana matching up mid lane to try and bully out the Twisted Fate. With that being said, we won't know until we get into game, so let's do just that. And it does
look
like it's K1ZZ piloting the Tristana in the top lane, Hismi piloting Lilia in the mid lane, Gua is highlighting the Volibear in the jungle B-Tray as role swapped to Senna AD carry with on-bow Sway support.
I suppose if you're in a last game scenario, this could be your life, this could be your death. You need to make something happen. I guess this is where it's going to happen. B-Tray being put onto the support role effectively with that Senna is going to go Grasp. Now, I like that a lot for being able to sustain through a laning phase. I actually think Grasp Senna is quite strong. I would say it's more of a situational play. Obviously, we're used to seeing Glacial Augment on Senna because it lets her trade very effectively, but I think that lets her trade very well as well, as she can kind of take some damage in return. I think when you're playing into Draven Nautilus, that's kind of expected. Now, PTA on that Draven is asking to play dominant. We see the Predator coming out from the Twisted Fate. There's a lot of early agency here from YUBI, and that's what they've been doing so far, is just trying to snowball the early game, take control, and take that through the mid game, get the towers, get the gold that they need. And I'm interested to see what TAS has here with K1 on the Tristana and Hisme mid lane on the Lilia.
Yeah, I partially like the Tristana into the Kennen. I don't know about the range early game, but definitely as the game goes on, Tristana is going to have a lot of range on that Kennen. A Buster Shot can potentially push Kennen out of a critical team fight position, and
Sorry to cut you
generally
off.
help feel for
Freelancer. Missing items.
Oh, Freelancer didn't buy items.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's a mistake or, the series has been pretty out of hand thus far. Being told by the chat that is a spectator bug, and they kind of... Yep, we're going to reload this stream to see if we can get the Kennen's items. Doesn't look like they've come through just quite yet. But anyway, the Kennen does have items. It's just a classic Reno spectator bug. So
I think we're pretty comfortable to assume that we're looking at either Corrupting Push and Start or something of the sort. Or maybe he didn't pick up items. It's looking like he doesn't have the bonus AD from something like a Doran's Blade. Maybe this is just the play from Freelancer, but looks like we're looking for a play bot lane now. Is the classic engage from this YUBI bot lane. Does miss the hook there. Brian saying almost landing on the turret there. Would have pulled him under tower. It does look like the Kennen's spent, though, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's confusing. No, he has all of his gold in his inventory. He has not purchased any items, so that is going to be very interesting. Going into this one. But so far, K1ZZ has, while doing a little bit of bullying onto this Kennen, needs to get more done to both take advantage of the mistake of not buying items and also take advantage of the quirky pick in the Tristana top lane. Hismi and Civillock going to do some trading in the mid lane. goes about pretty even. And so far, this game is going to be really spicy, and we're just gonna have to see how these strange non-meta picks that TAS have picked work out in this one.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the way to break down a team that you're having a hard time beating, is just pull out something that they've never seen before. You know, if you have 100% of the matchup experience that they don't, that gives you an odd edge. I say that. There's the hook now from Brian Sang, just going under the tower. I don't think this is going to convert into anything too big. I say that, though. B-Tray walking up very close for the range that you have in that Senna, and the Ignite is going to tick down. That's first blood over the Jeff God Gamer, is going to take the small cash in on the passive, and that's a big pickup for them, honestly. Getting that Draven to start snowballing as early as possible. Looks like Gua found the invade on the Volley Bear. But yeah, no, kill picked up.
Yeah, I was really confused by that because Brian Sang does find a hook, and that's sort of one of those poking hooks where, yeah, you're going to land the hook, the Nautilus is going to throw an auto down, Draven gets about 3 autos in there, procs the PTA, and yeah, the Swain should be crippled at that point. But B-Try just keeps trying to fight it and is standing not at Senna's range, which is one of her strongest traits as a marksman in the bottom lane, so not using that to his advantage, as well as just taking a fight for too long, really is going to cost his bot lane as the Draven snowball has started rolling.
Yeah, no, and that's what you have to be worried about. We said it in Champ Select. We said that this Draven was going to be an option. Now, obviously, not far from over, not a desperate, alarm bells ringing type of moment, but with the support of Civlock and Utility Monster, who almost certainly will just be leaving top lane alone at this point, as you're not too worried about what the Tristana can do. I say that here's the engage now from Brian Sang, finding B-Tray. Jeff God Gamer a little bit out of position, but he's going to be able to catch up with the speed that he finds from that W, and that is another kill. Picked up a bonus 61 gold from the passive, as we see even more gold into the pocket of that Draven, who already has the Noon Quiver picked up. And this bot lane, I was saying it's not do or die yet, but you really need to find some options now, and they haven't found it yet.
Yeah, you might want to start ringing those alarm bells. It's getting pretty scary down there. Draven has more gold than both Senna and Swain combined, if I read that correctly. So it's going to start hurting, and I'm really unsure as to where B-Tray could position in lane to possibly be safe and not being a common ADC player. It is a tough situation to work with when you're starting the game this far down, so we're going to have to see if Jeff God Gamer and Brian Sang continue this abuse in the bottom lane, or if they'll just convert it into some Dragon's Gua. Maybe looking for an opportunity with the Blast Cone here. Might catch Brian Sang going a little too far for vision, but his bot lane is not going to be there as fast as Jeff God Gamer, who starts whacking away on Gua. They're going to turn onto Jeff God Gamer. The Cavalry has arrived. Gua having to flash out. Civlock teleports in, and it's going to be a wash at this point as the members of YUBI slowly take out B-Tray. Gonbo's going to try and walk away slowly, and Hisme is going to have to retreat.
And that is the confidence that you have when you have the Destiny online. The gold card is going to land onto Hisme. Is Brian Sang going to go for the lockdown? Looks like Civlock's just backing up and trying to get the honey fruit. This actually doesn't look that good for Brian Sang. Obviously, Lilia having the speed, having the slows isn't going to get the tick down. But surprise, UT is in the top lane for Freelancer to try and deny K1, who's in between them and their turret. Does get the lockdown on the W there. Freelancer popping the ulti. Is not going to finish the kill onto K1 as he goes extremely low from the E, but is he going to be able to find that auto attack over the wall? Yes, he is. Now does have the reset from the hop. Is going to hop over the minions. Freelancer taking damage from minion auto attacks. There's the Q coming through. He's going to walk over his blob and is going to pick up the kill with the W.
That was really close. Really well played from K1ZZ to turn that gank into a 1-for-1. It's going to take some heroics at this point, with the Draven being so strong already into this game. Just 6 minutes and 55 seconds into this one. Has that Noon Quiver complete, has the Vampiric Scepter complete, most of the way to the Zerker Greaves. Oh my goodness. So we're going to see K1ZZ start pulling some major weight, and getting a kill onto the cannon is a good start. And even though that K1ZZ died there, that wave was pushing out, so hopefully the wave state isn't too bad for them as they return to lane.
Yeah, and K1 kind of has been the hero so far in playoffs for TAS. The wins that they have had have been very strongly, influenced by that top lane, the Irelias, the Silases. Even in this series, the Camille has done so well, and now with the Tristana kind of breathing some life into this team, K1 trying to take it on his back and do something, with this top lane. I think he has been able to do so far. That 2v1 is a great example of it, as we do see the engage now onto Freelancer. I don't think he's going to be able to pick up that kill, but a huge amount of damage will come out of that bomb, taking him down to 200, 300 HP. And now we see an engage in the bot lane as the hook does land from Brian Sang. Jeff God Gamer running forward does have the ultimate available. It looks like the lockup is going to keep them off. Non-stop fights in this series, non-stop fights in this game. This is what we're expecting from these two teams.
K1ZZ has shown this Tristana pick to be relatively good so far, both finding a kill onto the cannon as well as multiple plates, just through the natural power of Tristana shoving out the minion wave. And honestly, that could be a huge boon for TAS, as Tristana does scale pretty well and looks like he's about to pick up a third plate, but Freelancer has Civillock right here and says, no, you can't touch my tower anymore! Slicing Maelstrom comes out, and Civillock's gonna pick that one up with a card.
And a great rotation to get Freelancer safe off the turret now, as we do see Gua in the bot lane back to his home, but unable to find any sort of play off of the gank. That's the rotation from TF, the Predator in play, able to save his top laner, save the plates, pick up the kills, and now we see Utility Monster going for a little train in the mid lane. Doesn't know that Gua's necessarily right there. The sleep is available along with the Volibear ulti, but they decide not to dive the Zac, which is relatively smart. There are no TPs available to save him, but the passive is there. And now we see the engage onto Betray, who's just been hooked, locked down, locked up, and sent back to the fountain as an extra bit of gold on top of Jeff God Gamer with that Draven to take that lead and just put it even further ahead.
So now the question is, who's going to have more deaths? Betray, Senna, or Gua's Kog'Maw in Game 1, as we clearly see this one's going to be a bloodbath for the poor Asorth ADC, as this Draven Nautilus combo is just so hard to maneuver through. The Draven got an early lead, and now anytime Nautilus hits a hook the entire laning phase, it's both your summoners or game over for you. So we're going to see Betray walking back out of that fountain, trying to pick up anything in this one, as itemized first into an Executioner's Calling to try and slow the Immortal Shield, though, that Draven has. But even if there wasn't any lifesteal on that bad boy, just the stats would be enough. Looks like Utility Monster looking for K1ZZ in the top lane, and Destiny's going to come through, and it's a matter of fate, of destiny, if you will, that K1ZZ will drop to the three-man roam.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can really do to get out of that situation. Another kill picked up. Great rotation there from Civillock to find that kill in the top lane with Utility Monster, making great use of that TF, getting the wave pushed in mid lane, able to force Lilia off. Now Gua looking for something in the top lane, unable to find anything along with this whole set, but now Civillock has locked in the gold card against Hismay, as it is going to time out very soon. There's the Predator finally given the movement speed. It is going to lock down Hismay. Sleep is available, but it is going to come out fast enough. No, Civillock is unstoppable as he picks up a 5th kill on the mid laner of TAS. And now it looks like there might be a rotation to the bot side from Utility Monster to pick up kills and more plates.
Yep, this Twisted Fate has been an absolute monster. Go to a lane, grab a kill, come back to lane, grab another kill. It's something that you just have to respect, the roaming power of Predator Twisted Fate, and this Lilia did not, as we see a dive under the tower.
Yeah, and immediately picking up that kill from Jeff God Gamer. Betray maybe think that he can pick something up, but surprise, the Zac is here, and that is another kill to Brian Sang, as they're going to safely walk back out of that turret. The Zac able to pick up the extra kill for the bot lane, and it is 12-1 at 11 minutes. This is looking very dire for TAS in a very early game.
Absolutely. It's only 11 minutes in, and it is a 6,000 gold lead for YUBI. They're absolutely bullying this poor 6th seed, showing them why they are number 1 coming into these playoffs.
Yeah, and this is what a reigning champion does. This is the ability that they have on the map. This is virtually the same roster as far as I know. This is the same players doing the same thing they did last season, just being absolutely dominant as now. Gua is caught out in the jungle. The rotation does come out from Hismay first, but Civillock is there with the level advantage over Hismay. Utility Monster taken quite low, does have the passive available, and Gua will pop the ulti to try and survive, but he just goes down to Jeff God Gamer instead, as they do try to chase down the Lilia, but no speed will catch you up to that deer.
No, sir. And I'm honestly surprised that Gua and Hismay went for that. It's pretty obvious to me that there's such a big advantage that just a raw 2v2 isn't going to help you. It takes so long to kill a Zac with passive up, and while I'm saying that, you know, the bot lane's going to die again, nothing too different from the norm here, as Jeff God Gamer's going to pick up a double kill. Get proccing that passive twice, you know, nothing abnormal there. But meanwhile, the pressure in the bot side does mean that K1ZZ is going to grab first tower gold in the top lane, so a nice pickup for them. Ocean Drake going over to YUBI in the meantime. And Brian Sang has found Gua in the jungle, but I don't think this is going to amount to much. The Nautilus is so tanky and mobile, and without Predator, that Volibear has no chance of catching up to Nautilus and no teammates to support him.
Yeah, no Destiny available that time, just kind of forcing them off. They've already picked up the Dragon. That was 5 plates plus first turret gold onto that Tristana, so that's nothing to scoff at. Is finally going to take that recall and should, I imagine, finish that mythic item, if not get very close. Which, you know, is something. But it's a Kraken Slayer finish in a game that's 1-15. As I say that, Gua is going to try and change the balance of that scoreboard, but I don't think it's going to go the way that he was hoping. Legendary for Jeff God Gamer as the Destiny comes out. There is going to be a TP into the bot lane as they lock up on Gabo, and they proceed to him after the kill on a Betray. They go underneath the turret. The ultimate is popped. It doesn't look like anybody really wants to tank and find the way in. Onbo is going to zone them off the turret, but is going to overstay a little bit. Here's the Predator pop from Sivlock as they walk him and get that kill. Then a TP comes in from K1. This is the big Tristana. Is he going to be able to find the resets? There's the ultimate out from Lilia. Is Brian Sang going to fall to the E? No, he does not. There's no reset yet from K1 as Sivlock is very low, but so is his mate. K1 not seeing the opportunity to jump in. Is he going to take it? Does the bullying ball land? Yes, it does. Sivlock dropping the ultimate down on top, and they shut down for Betray. Is there going to be any way that they can find their way out, though, away from Freelancer, who pops the ulti, pops the flash, and does pop the kill on the Lilia? And that is 2 kills picked up, but traded 3 back.
Yeah, I mean, K1Z's actually going to get out of here, which is pretty important. We'll see if Freelancer takes the blue buff, does not quite get it. And K1ZZ is just going to recall behind enemy lines. Shouldn't go for anything crazy in this mid lane. I don't think Utility Monster going onto those Raptors. K1ZZ knows better to try that one out.
He didn't see him.
Didn't see him.
Looks like K1 is going to try and actually find this engage now. There's the flash heal from the Senna. There's the flash out from Utility Monster, who's deciding to also flash. Multiple flashes burnt in this engage so far. Betray getting knocked up from Utility Monster, who's landing that ulti, landing all those hits, healing up so much from the blobs, and there goes Betray. Gua trying to go in, trying to find his first kill of the series, chasing down Freelancer under the turret, does get stunned up, and does not get the kill. Goes down to Civilock, and now Onbo trying to pick up some redemption, does get the flash Q onto Utility Monsters. He's Zanya's in the middle of 2. Now, K1 yet to find his recall. Is he going to find a way back onto Brian, saying there's so much damage out of the Tristana, surely will go down? Yes, he does. And K1 keeps himself alive and finds himself a recall.
So,
That's the
I got them! The Whirling Blade mount from the Draven is going to pick that one up as Civilock and Hisme get into a fight in the mid lane. In these extended trades, Hisme is quite favored. But Civilock is going to survive barely, not quite dipping down to 0 off of that Dream Dust. The very low damage build of rushing a Frozen Heart is going to mean that Hisme does not pick that kill up so early. Oh my goodness, what a game.
Yeah, and there's so much attention in the mid lane, but there's been so much going on across the map. Top lane, mid lane has been the main focus, but it's really hard to ignore. Jeff God Gamer on the Draven has picked up the Essence Reaver for the win more button and is 11-0 at this point in the game. 15 minutes in, he's able to finish 2 items plus boots plus a BF sword. It's hard to say that he's not even like dominating his laner. He's dominating this game. RFC basically full build now from Civilock in the mid lane on TF. There's really nothing more you could really ask for. Freelancer still yet to pick up the Proto Belt. But there's so much gold on YUBI. It's almost a 10k gold lead rolling in at the 16-minute mark. There needs to be some big plays that come out from TAS to try and find their way in, and maybe this is it.
Here comes Sleep going out onto Civilock, but the rest of YUBI is here. 4 members in that mid lane with Utility Monster coming over the top is going to mean, with the dredge line coming out, that Hisme falls early. Betray, just a walking sack of hit points at this point as Utility Monster drives under the tower. The Dawning Shadow will not save you as Utility Monster slowly pops the goo all over that TAS backline. And Brian Sang finding another dredge line in there, slicing Maelstrom over the top, because that's going to be 4 members of TAS dropping right there. K1ZZ split pushing in the top side, only going to trade these objectives. But the gold influx, if it wasn't bad already, it just got worse for TAS as the gold lead is now over 9,000, and it will continue rising as YUBI march through and pick up this mid inhibitor at about 17 minutes. But respawning members of TAS are going to dissuade them from taking the full inhibitor.
They decide not to try and challenge the fastest game timer there as they back off of the inhibitor and take the safe play backwards now. Jeff God Gamer caught out, but we know that his only counter is a Ford as he's moving his way away from the mid lane, as we see that the Destiny pop top lane onto K1 as he does try to find some sort of engage, but he is 1v3 locked down by the gold card, and there's the kill picked up for Civilock. Jeff God Gamer and Brian saying we're able to safely escape mid lane, and that is a 28th kill over to the side of YUBI.
It looks like the TS are actually going to decide to make a macro play for once this game and take this mount break as we see that UB rotated to the top side. We'll see if Jeff God Gamer is able to steal. The ulti is not quite up yet, and the dragon is going to go over with TAS, but the fight has started. Utility Monster is getting dropped really low, about to go into that passive, but Let's Bounce is getting so much damage out onto the backline as Hisme looking for damage. Oh, Jeff God Gamer does so much damage, and the slicing maelstrom over the top means that Gua and Onbo are going to fall. B-Try stands no chance, and the Deer is going to have to prance as fast as Lilia can to try and get out of this one, but Zach's jump range might just be enough. No, the stretching strike is going to miss, and Hisme is going to walk out of there just barely. K1 ZZ firing pot shots, getting the bomb over the top, might take out Utility Monster. Jeff God Gamer doing so much damage, and the Zach lives on barely any HP, about a pixel. And wow, another very violent fight between these two teams.
And that is the power of a 23-0 KDA for Jeff God Gamer, able to deal so much damage. Is going to recall, surely finish up what I assume is going to be an Infinity Edge, which will just send his damage from here to the moon. Able to get those extra crits. Yes, he is going to pick that up. I don't know really what TAS is going to find here. The only thing that they can maybe be looking at is that Baron is up soon. Really, YUBI has to try and throw a fight on an objective at this point to really find a way back in for TAS. K1 has done a really solid job on this Tristana to pick up 2 items, but there's Divine Sunder right now on the Senna, and that's it. There's Leandries on the Swain, and that's it. There's Frozen Heart, that's it. There's really no big item breakpoints. Meanwhile, the Draven is so far ahead that Protobelt has finally been finished up for the Kennen, and now we see Utility Monster deciding to actually walk in 1v4. Is in a little bit of trouble here as K1 does dive forward, trying to get Utility Monsters. He does flash out, and the kill is picked up. Now the reset is there for K1 as the engage comes in from Brian Sang, landing the hook on top of B-Tray. Huge knock up there and huge damage from the Draven. K1 from one auto attack from from full to half does get hooked again. There's the flash forward from Draven to pick up a 13th kill. 13-0 on this Draven now. There's the Destiny in. Yes, does land the gold card on top of Hisme. There's the hook follow-up and put to sleep. But now Gua trying to find something on the backline. Does not find anything at all. He has picked up a single kill this entire series. And it looks like this is going to be YUBI walking down into the base.
Yeah, it should be just about it at this point. I mean, it looks like Gua's just like, oh, all my other teammates ran in and died. I guess it's my turn, and decides to run at the 14-0 Draven, thinking that something's going to happen, but not quite, you could say, as the Volibear lands barely any damage onto that Draven and heals it off immediately.
Yep. And YUBI, once again, deciding that maybe it isn't safe, maybe it's not time, maybe there's some credential that needs to be met, as stopwatch is picked up for Draven. There is... I'm actually loving the Zax build right now, grabbing the Demon Embrace for that extra damage. Really, they're just waiting on their own timers at this point. There's nothing that's stopping YUBI from walking into the space. 35-7 on the kills right now. The gold lead is unspeakable. And TAS is just holding on for dear life.
Yeah, it almost feels like YUBI's just playing with their food at this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure they had a pretty clear angle to end the game here. Zach is going to leap into the backline trying to find enemies, but does not CC anyone, but a slicing Maelstrom will find 3, and Jeff God Gamer finds 2 more kills. Oh my goodness, the members are falling from the side of TAS as a clean sweep comes through for the side of YUBI, and they are going to walk into the base and end this tragedy for TAS fans, as YUBI are going to advance to the Luna League Finals with this win here.
Yeah, TAS taken down by Civlock and Jeff God Gamer. This game has been completely in their pocketbooks. The plays are there. As the Nexus falls, Finals is on the horizon. Is it going to be BBZ or H-Block to match as YUBI takes down the 3rd and final game, pushing them forward? And really, like, you can't say anything other than how well they were able to play this game. They've been able to play this whole series phenomenally. That 22-minute game, they're so far ahead. That Draven was enormous, dealing more than 1,000 damage a minute there, which is a rarity in any lane. This has been YUBI all the way through. I don't think anybody is shocked to see them come through ahead right now. They played this series pretty much perfectly. Nobody's surprised to see the reigning champions going into finals.
No, but I am surprised to see a Nautilus dealing more damage than 4 out of 5 members of the enemy team. Very well played from YUBI this entire series, absolutely dominating TAS in and out.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is going to be goodbye to TAS. They had a phenomenal tournament run so far, barely sneaking in at the last moment, making it 2 semifinals with honestly some great showing in the quarterfinals. But this will be the end of their run. It will not be the end of YUBI's, though, as we are going to see an interview with YUBI moving forward. Don't go anywhere.
When you look at Universal Basic Income, you can say that it's their consistency that makes them such a strong team. You could say that it's their individual playing that makes them a strong team. You could say that it's their macro play that makes a strong team. However, you would be wrong on pretty much every account, because as we've seen, they're only human. They can be taken down. And it's one of those things where, yes, they are this monolithic force, but they are just so strong and able to coalesce, and just the meme is so impossible to take down, because what is a meme but an idea, and ideas just never die. Hello, folks, and welcome back. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster, Shargan, and I have got joining me today on the interview desk. We've got Utility Monster, and returning after a vicious attack by a 2007 Ford Fusion who keeps mocking us in the Twitch chat. We've got Jeff God Gamer. Guys, how is it going?
It's going pretty well. Glad to take the win in playoffs.
Yeah, obviously, feels great to play against TAS. There's a super fun team to play against them. We always love playing against them.
Yeah, this is very true. Like, TAS is always a really fun team to be playing against. And honestly, what did you guys think about the fact that you were actually going to be going up against them here in the semifinals rather than Church of Alfonso?
I mean, frankly, it's an easier matchup than we were expecting. Taz was ranked lower in the regular season than Church of Alfonso was, but it was definitely a surprise that Church of Alfonso was removed from the league for playing with Smurfs. So, we weren't expecting it at all, but I think overall it was an easier matchup than we expected, perhaps. Individually, Taz is fine, but their teamwork isn't always there, so we felt even if we made some mistakes, and we did, we would be able to come out on top.
Yeah, so, and obviously it was a clean game for both of these, it seems, although I think, Jeff, you were saying it was not clean at all in that last one specifically earlier.
In the second game specifically, my jungle and top kind of inted, and then I had to deal with a Fed Irelia and Master Yi the rest of the game, while my jungler got to have a Yuumi ride around and just kill everyone, while I didn't get to have any fun.
Yeah, that's kind of just how it is sometimes as an ADC, though. So it's like you kind of got to just deal with it, right?
Yeah, you're gonna accept the results of that game, Jeff, and you're gonna like
it. So speaking about accepting results of a game, we've got the H Block and Blue Bayou Zoo match coming up tomorrow. Out of those two teams, which do you think is most likely to win, and how do you think the grand finals are going to go against them?
Well, first of all, the game is Wednesday, not tomorrow. They rescheduled.
That's true.
But I think H Block is favored. I think they're a really strong team, and they have the better regular season record for a reason. But I think BBC is also a very strong team, so I wouldn't be shocked if BBC won. I think it's 60-40 type matchup. So we're definitely going to expect H Block, but we're not going to do a whole lot of preparation until we see who actually takes it. Yeah, I think both teams are quite good, and I'm excited to face one of them in finals.
Yeah. Definitely seems like it's gonna be pretty exciting. And then Jeff, how does it feel to be back? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, it feels really nice. I remember telling Josh or Utility Monster after I got hit by the car that I might need a sub for 1 week, and then that 1 week turned into 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, and ended up not being able to play an FF for 41 days because I've been counting. But when I woke up this morning and I checked the lock-in sheet and I see my name, it's just kind of like a sigh of relief knowing that I get to be back and play. And it obviously feels really good to play again. I'm happy I get to play with Brian. He's kind of too OP, but it just feels really nice to be back. And I think I made a good case that I'm an important member of the team. And even though Mr. Trunksville did great, I think I will lead YUBI to another finals victory.
Well, it certainly seems that way. So it's great having you back. And then before I let you both go, Utility Monster, I'm aware that you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, I wanted to apologize to BBZ Red if he's still around. I know that he was tied with Gua in kills coming into this game, and we kept him to 0 the first 2, and then the third he got 1 on me. So that's my bad. Won't happen again. But yeah, sorry. Gua's ahead of you on the kill leaderboard now.
You have to get at least 1 kill in your playoff in match against HBK. So it might be a little bit of a challenge, but I think you can do it.
All right. Well, Utility Monster, Jeff God Gamer, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you dropping by.
Yep. Can't wait to 3-0 finals.
3-0 finals are going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure. All right, folks. And with that, we're going to be closing out our broadcast for the evening. Want to do a quick thank you to our sponsors, Logitech Gaming and Adobe Creative Cloud. Greatly appreciate your support. And like we did mention, the game isn't going to be happening tomorrow. We're actually going to be having it on Wednesday. I believe it's going to be at the same broadcast time. It'll actually be a little bit later. It's going to be at a 5:30 broadcast time Pacific. So we'll keep you an eye out for that. We'll be going live at around that point. Have some awesome League of Legends games out there, and we'll see you on the Rift.
world.